I have a question for you. Do you know what is a past participle in French? No? An auxiliary? A preposition? An infinitive? An agreement? Well, if you are not too sure, you came to the right place, because today I am going to explain all these grammar terms that I am sure you heard before, but you are not too sure what they are. So if you are ready to take your French grammar from 0 to 100, well, just keep watching this video. I'm really happy because today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. So Skillshare is a platform that offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. So thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So the first term that I want to talk about is actually verbs. Yes. So a lot of you are going to say, Pearl, we know what a verb is. Yes, I know that you know that a verb is an action. The only thing you need to be very careful with in French is that you need to conjugate your verbs. Yes, because a lot of students actually don't conjugate their verb. So what do I mean by conjugation? So you know in English, you actually do the same thing. For example, when you say, I like, you like, he, she likes. This S that you add is actually a conjugation. In French, you need to do that for all the different person. For example, j'aime, I. Tu aimes, IS. Il, elle aime, I. Nous aimons, ONS. Vous aimez, IZ. Il, elle aime, INT. So here you need to be careful with your verbs in French. Which leads me to my term number 2, endings. Yes, endings. You have to be careful. In French, the endings are changing for each person. You've got to make sure that you do that when you conjugate a verb. If you are not too sure how to memorize the conjugations, how to conjugate verbs, I have a video for you how to memorize your French conjugations. So I will put the link in the description box down below. So another term that I would like to talk about, still related to verbs, is the term infinitive. Infinitive. Infinitif en français. So what is an infinitive? An infinitive just means that the verb is not conjugated. That's it. The verb is not conjugated. For example, when you say, je veux manger. Je veux manger. Okay? The verb manger ends with ER. So you know that the verb is not conjugated. So here I have a little tip for you. In the sentence, je veux manger, veux is, yes, a verb, because you know what a verb is, and manger is also a verb. But here you notice that veux is conjugated, but manger is not. Because when you have two verbs in a row, the second verb is not conjugated. The verb is at the infinitive, the infinitive. So here, be very careful. You have to conjugate your verbs, except in certain situations where you need to use the infinitive. So now, if you hear the word infinitive, you know that the verb is not conjugated. So another term that I would like to talk about is the term auxiliary. So here, I have a question for you. What is an auxiliary? Can you give me an example? So here, an auxiliary is a verb that is going to help another verb. In French, we have two auxiliaries, être and avoir. So être and avoir are helping other verbs. So what do I mean by helping? It means that when you are going to use compound tenses, such as the passé composé or the pluperfect, you will need them to form it. For example, with the passé composé. Okay? So an auxiliary, remember, in French we have two, être and avoir, they are helping other verbs. So actually, those auxiliaries are leading me to my next term. So the next term that I want to talk about and that you need to know is a past participle. What is a past participle? I'm sure you've heard it before. So a past participle is a form of a verb. So just before we talked about le passé composé. So to form the passé composé, you need an auxiliary être ou avoir, and you need a past participle. So the past participle, most of the time it's easy to do. For example, for ER verbs, you remember infinitive, verbs that end with ER. For example, manger. To get the past participle of manger, you get rid of the ER and you put an accent. So past participles, you will find them with the passé composé. Okay? So you need an auxiliary and a past participle. It's exactly like in English when you say I have eaten. Have is your auxiliary, it's avoir. Eaten is your past participle. See, you are even learning things about English. So another grammar term that you absolutely need to know is the term noun. A noun. So I am sure that you are going to say, well, I know what a noun is. Yes, but here I want to be specific. You have to be careful because in French, nouns are not working the same way. For example, in English, you can say, I like apples. The word apples is by itself. In French, you cannot do that. A noun is like a baby. A noun is like a baby. It means that you need to put an article. I love to say that an article is like a parent. You can't leave a baby by itself. Same thing for nouns. So in French, you need to say, j'aime les pommes. J'aime des pommes, but you have to put something in front of apples, in front of pomme. So here, I want you to be very careful because it is a mistake that I see all the time. Don't leave a baby alone. Put an article with it. So here, nouns, you are careful, you put an article with it. So now I would like to talk about two grammatical terms. The first one is agreement. An agreement. En français, un accord. So what is an agreement? So agreement comes from the verb to agree. We shake hands, we agree. It is the same thing for grammar. So it means that adjectives, okay, another grammatical terms, adjectives in French have to agree with the nouns. And it doesn't work like that in English, so you have to be careful. For example, when I say une chemise blanche. Chemise is my noun, a feminine noun, and blanche is the adjective. So blanche now has to be feminine. When I say des chemises blanches, blanche is the adjective and has to agree with the noun that is now feminine, plural, so I add an E and an S. So here, when you speak French, you have to be careful with those agreements. Don't forget to put an extra E if it's feminine. Don't forget to put an extra S, okay? So here, the notion of feminine and masculine is going to be extremely important. Once again, I made a video to help you identify feminine and masculine in French. If you haven't checked it out, go have a look. It will help you a lot. So another grammar term that you absolutely need to know is the term preposition. What is a preposition in French? So a preposition is a little word that is going to come most of the time after a verb. For example, when you say, I try to sleep, this to in French is j'essaie de dormir, de. So here you have to be very careful because you can't guess what preposition is going to come after a verb. You need to learn them. So in French, we have a with an accent that can be a preposition. You can have this de, you can have pour. Here, I have a little tip for you. After a preposition, when you have a verb, the verb is always at the infinitive. Always, we say preposition plus infinitive. For example, j'essaie de dormir. So here, really memorize preposition plus infinitive. So this video was made possible thanks to Skillshare, and I really want to thank them for this opportunity. I absolutely love Skillshare because of the number and the quality of the classes they offer. One of my favorite classes is the Productivity Masterclass, where you can learn the principles of productivity. And this class is taught by Ali Abdal. you will learn how to become productive, and you can apply those principles to French and become more productive with your French learning experience. So the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description box down below will receive a free membership trial of Skillshare Premium. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in my description box down below. So I hope that this video was useful. Please, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section box down below. Also, if you think about other grammatical terms that you don't know, comment in the comment section box down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe to my channel because you don't want to miss anything. That's it for me, and I see you very soon for another video. Salut!